Well, hello all you beautiful people out there in YouTube land. Thanks for checking out this video, part 2 of my build series Big Bearing Little Knife. If you watched the first video, you saw how I took a big bearing about the size of a dinner plate, cut it open, and got out a whole bunch of these little barrel-shaped bearings that are about 1 inch by 1 inch, almost, a perfect 1 inch cube. Took one of those, forged it into about a 5-inch long by 1/2 inch piece of square stock, and I learned a lot in that build process. I actually took several of them, worked them in different ways, kind of learned what worked and what didn't, and then ended up with that 5-inch long piece, and that's where I ended that one. This video is where I would be showing you how I took that 5-inch long piece by 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch and flattened it out and forged it into an actual knife shape. Unfortunately, my camera did not cooperate when I filmed that, so all of that footage is lost. When I tell you that I'm new at this whole forging thing and I'm still learning how to do everything, well, that learning process, that goes for filming as well. Still figuring all this out. So, you're just going to have to believe me when I tell you that this is what I made from that one bearing. I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can get a little bit better view of it. So, this is what I ended up with after I took that 5-inch long by 1/2 inch piece of squared and drawn out bearing, and forged it out into, let's see, got my measuring here. Overall it is about 8.5 inches long, but I'm going to lose a little bit of that because I'll cut off right here where you can see that's where I had the rebar welded, and this other end, that's the tip. I didn't get the tip forged in quite as well as I'd wanted to, but if you saw my build series on the big Bowie knife, it's a lot better. It's I'm still not quite there on my hammering, but I'm getting better. So the overall probably going to end up with about an 8-inch long knife, and let's see, the tang and handle will probably be 3.5, maybe 4 inches, with, I don't know, maybe a 4-inch, 4.5 inch blade. So really, actually pretty surprised with the amount of blade that I got out of that one bearing. In another video, I'm definitely going to try forge welding 2 of them together and make a kitchen knife. That's probably the next project that I'm going to do. But for today, I'm going to try to get this one knocked out. I've got a lot of grinding, profiling to do. Going to grind in the tip and just clean up all the edges. Get it ready for heat treat. Obviously, got to finish filing in my bevel. But yep, that's where we're at today. Okay, so I've done a little bit of rough grinding, and now I think I need to figure out exactly where I want to make like the cuts to my tip and my grind lines and all that. I should also probably figure out what I want to do as far as a handle, because this is pretty wide. The tang is almost as wide as the blade, and I need to figure out if I'm going to do scales or a through tang or what. I need to figure out exactly what I'm going to do, and I don't know yet. Now I've got a few different options as far as handle materials go. I've got this small piece of bamboo. This is this is actually a piece of the tongue and groove flooring. This is a sample piece that I got from Lowe's, not a paid endorsement, but I just picked up a couple pieces of this the sample wood, and it's almost the perfect size. It was a lot bigger sheet when I got it. I already used some on another knife project, but that would be about right as far as size goes. But I'm not sure if that's what I'll use. I've also got this piece of deer antler. I started to use it on another project and decided I didn't like it. So it's already been drilled out a little bit, but that's just gunk from the sticker. That'll clean off. If I'm going to use this, I would have to cut it. I'd probably have to grind this down to a through tang and then do some kind of nut or pommel. That's an option. I might do that. I've also got these two pieces that I picked up from a knife making supply shop. This is green micarta. I believe that's what it's called. It's like it almost looks like fiberglass. It's like a laminate. I don't know. Don't know what I'm going to use that for, but I don't want to use it for this project, I don't think. And this is ironwood. That wouldn't look bad, but I feel like I would waste a lot of material. I think I might save these for a bigger knife. And I'm really thinking about this. If I cut this shape in like I want, like I'm picturing somewhat of a small buoy, I think this antler would be the way to go. Even though that's gonna, I don't know, it's got a good feel to it. So. I think I'm gonna do a guard of some kind. I'm not 100% sure what I'll use, but if I did a guard, tapered this down, I wouldn't even have to do a pommel. I could do a through pin. That would be my handle. I think that's the way to go. So, set that aside. And let me get my calipers. This is just a cheap plastic pair of calipers from Harbor Freight. Ooh, that'll work. I want that right there. I'm gonna have to, this is not perpendicular to the tang, so if I did this, if I made this edge flat with that, my tang would be way off. I actually want the grip in line with the blade, which means I've got to trim some of this off, so that's going to need to be sanded, but that's not a big deal. I've got some trimming to do on that, and then this tang almost needs to be triangular. And I think I need to give myself some clearance for a guard. But I think it probably doesn't need to be any longer than that. And Oh, where did my measuring stick go? My ruler. Oh, good grief. If it was a snake, it would have bit you. Let's see. I just want a straight edge. That's all I want. Do not go past go that line. Let's see. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Really? Oh. That's not gonna help, is it? This. I'm just trying to figure out a center line. And give myself kind of a rough, well, I don't want it to be that pointed. Probably don't need it to be that's fairly so that would be. If you're watching this and wondering what in the world is this guy doing, he has no clue what's going on. You're right, I don't. I'm making this up as I go along. And I could very well be about to ruin this project. This marker is probably the most imperfect tool for this job. And if any of you are professional knife makers watching this, just cringing, you're probably right. Okay, so my plan is to not, I'm using the, let's see, is that gonna work? That's outside of that line. I'm gonna start with this. I'm gonna grind no more. I will not grind past this line. This marker is a terrible job for this, but cut this off, grind down to these lines, and start fitting it to this. Now, I've done a lot of grinding and gotten the back or the spine of the blade pretty well flat. Let me show you. Using this ruler as a straight edge, you can see I've got that spine pretty well. I mean, it's almost perfectly straight. Now, for me, the easiest way I know to get it perfectly flat and straight is to use this file as a, using it like this, making long strokes on it like that, and that will take it down nice and flat with the edge of the blade, or the edge of the file. Now, I'm going to take this marker and color the whole spine of the blade so that as I take off material and look at it, I'll be able to see the shiny metal where it's already been taken off. You can see where it's already starting to, that's where I'm making contact, right there and right there. And when I get to the point where the whole spine is silver instead of black, I'll know that I've gotten it pretty much as flat as I can get it without some precision equipment. Basically, I'm doing what is basically poor man's marking fluid. If you've ever done any machine work or layout fluid, use the blue layout fluid. That's what this is. This is just a cheater way of doing it. So the file was not working on the spine of this material because even though it is not, I have not hardened this yet. So if you were watching me grind on this and seeing the heat, like right there, you see where I got the metal hot from grinding on it, don't worry about that. I haven't tempered this yet. I mean, I haven't quenched it, so it's not hardened. But that file was just skating on this metal already. So I'm going to try a different tactic. I've got this stone, which is not perfectly flat, but it's as flat of a surface as I've got. And this should help, hopefully, will allow me to get the flat, even spine that I want. And you can see how the shiny metal where I've sanded on it is coming through the marker. So yeah, that's working a little bit better. Okay, so here's where I'm at after quite a bit of grinding and filing. Now I've still got a lot to do. I'm not done with that yet, but I think the overall profile is turning out pretty good. This metal, even though it is not hardened yet, is hard as a rock. I mean, it really doesn't respond to the file at all. Pretty happy with the shape of the tang, but it bottoms out in the hole that I've already established in this antler. So now I've got to decide if I go ahead and try to drill down deeper into the antler, because it bottoms out about right there. So I've got at least that much farther to go. But either that or cut the tang shorter, and I don't really want to do that, so I think I'm going to go ahead and try drilling this out, drilling down. Now I could weld like a piece of all thread to this or something like that, cut the end of this antler off and make it a through tang, and then drill and tap a piece of metal, make a pommel. But I think I kind of like how this is going to look. I do want to make a guard for it, and I haven't figured out what I'm going to make it out of yet. But that's something for tomorrow probably, because it's getting late and getting cold. So yeah, so far so good. Still got some filing, and I want to file the bevels, and I need to quench it, temper it, polish, finish assembling the handle. But so far so good. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I did finish the knife, spoiler alert. I got the video done and edited and all put together, and it turned out to be like an hour long, and I feel like that was really too big of a video to drop all at once, so I'm going to cut it into 2 pieces. So this build series will be 3 parts altogether. This is the end of part 2, and soon I will drop part 3, which will be the completed finished knife. You'll see all of that, all the handle shaping and everything. And hopefully you enjoy that, and you think I deserve a like and a share, subscribe, and all those things that really help out the channel. I would really appreciate it. Again, thanks for watching, and remember, make stuff and forge your own future.